I'm Batman.
The Batman is coming, and we can hardly wait. Like many of you, we are losing our minds with excitement at what Matt Reeves has in store for us. We've seen little hints here and there, and most recently, we got a little tease regarding Robert Pattinson's workout regimen. It just makes us wonder, how exactly does one transform into a character like Bruce Wayne and Batman? Let's take a look and find out.
Yes, of course. Hold on.
Matt Reeves The Batman sounds more and more amazing every day, and how could it not? I mean, we're getting all kinds of amazing news on the regular about the different casting choices. We've got the beautiful Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. We've got the even more beautiful Paul Dano as the Riddler. Yeah, sorry Zoe, but we have a Paul Dano crush that simply cannot be contained. Ever since we watched his blossoming friendship with a farting corpse in Swiss Army Man, we've even got the likes of the amazing Jeffrey Wright, star of HBO's Westworld, in the role of Jim Gordon. All this casting news is amazing, no matter what way you look at it. All that being said, when word first got around that Robert Pattinson would be taking on the mantle of the Batman, it sent some fans into all kinds of fits. And look, to be fair, we get it. We don't like the Twilight movies either, people. Spoiler alert, not even Robert Pattinson is a fan of those movies. In fact, it's entirely possible that no one on the planet hates Twilight as much as Mr. Pattinson. Search for Robert Pattinson hates Twilight on YouTube. You'll see what we mean. While there was any number of crazy fans threatening to boycott or creating petitions to get Pattinson removed from the role, there was also a more reasonable community of fans. These fans were more familiar with the work Pattinson has done in the years since he left the sparkling vampire Edward behind. Here's the truth, people. Robert Pattinson is an immensely talented actor. In fact, he's arguably one of the finest young actors working in this day and age. Yeah, you can quote us on that. Just take a look at the work he's been doing lately. Cosmopolis, Good Time, The Lost City of Z, High Life. The dude has worked with amazing filmmakers such as David Cronenberg, James Gray, and is even working with Christopher Nolan himself on Nolan's new movie, Tenet. And come on, did you guys even see The Lighthouse? That movie is absolutely insane, and Pattinson's performance is incredible. I mean, look at him dancing with Willem Dafoe. Look how much the two of them are drinking. The point we're trying to make here is that Pattinson is clearly a man devoted to his craft, whether he's taking on challenging material, stretching his acting chops with strange roles, switching up his hairstyle, or even changing up his accent.
Please, could you just put it down for 2 seconds? Just listen to what I'm saying.
I was gonna do that anyway, and you would have heard me, man. You would have.
I mean, how can you watch that and not come away thinking that he's got mad skills? That says skills with a Z, in case you're wondering. The guy has demonstrated utter dedication to each part he takes on, and we can't wait to hear his Batman accent. Playing Batman is an incredible honor, and many of the actors that have portrayed the character have considered it as such. Well, maybe not Adam West, but that's not a knock against him. The Adam West Burt Ward 1960s Batman series is one of the greatest things on the planet. But let's be real, we're not sure Mr. West engaged in any intense workouts or preparation to get ready for the role. Well, unless you count the preparation he did for performing the Batusi, those moves just don't come out of nowhere. Then again, maybe they do. Either way, we love them. And alright, we'll admit that while Michael Keaton probably did some decent prep for the role, we're not sure Val Kilmer or George Clooney were nearly as devoted. Their workout regimens likely pale in comparison to what Christian Bale put himself through when preparing to star in Christopher Nolan's 2005 film Batman Begins.
What is the point of all those push-ups if you can't even lift a bloody log?
Look, we're all well aware at this point that Bale is completely insane, and if you're not aware of this fact, go ahead and search for his infamous rant on the set of Terminator Salvation to see what we mean. Really though, Bale has developed a reputation for showing complete and utter dedication to his craft. That much is clear when you watch a film like 2004's The Machinist. He is painfully skinny in that film, and then he had to go and bulk up to play The Dark Knight. He engaged in an intense workout regimen and very specific diet in order to develop a form that would make Batman proud. Obviously, the bar for Batman preparation is high, but Pattinson seems to be up to the task. While details are understandably under wraps regarding what the Batman will be about, Pattinson has been dropping little hints here and there in recent interviews. One particular interview he did with the New York Times in October of 2019 offered some of the best information yet. In that interview, Pattinson joked that he thought the only reason someone would want to play a good guy is because they're desperately ashamed of what they're doing in real life. He went on to say, the most fun part of doing movies is that you can explore the more grotesque or naughty sides of your psyche. Pattinson used this explanation to dive into his opinion on Batman, who he claimed isn't necessarily a hero. His morality is a little bit off, said Pattinson. He's not the golden boy, unlike almost every other comic book character. There is a simplicity to his worldview, but where it sits is strange, which allows you to have more scope with the character. Following this quote, Pattinson was quick to add that he doesn't know how all of these opinions will come into play with his performance. He says, I just fear that when I say something about Batman, people online are like, what does this mean? And I don't know, end quote. Really though? Pattinson seems to bring his A-game to the bat table. He's already getting prepped for a deep dive into the realm of Batman comics, exploring the various storylines and iterations of the character with what we can only imagine is absurd amounts of enthusiasm. Maybe not Batusi levels of enthusiasm, but enthusiasm nonetheless. In a recent appearance on Variety's The Big Ticket with Mark Malkin podcast, Pattinson told Malkin, I'm glad I've had quite a lot of time. I didn't realize there were so many Batman comics, hundreds and thousands, but I've been reading a lot of those. Okay, but really, how awesome is that? Can you imagine taking on a job where the process of preparation involves reading Batman comics? Pattinson is living the dream so many of us strive for.
Are you feeling this? Are you feeling the cause I'm feeling right now?
Really though, we have to wonder if there are any Batman comics or graphic novels Pattinson is focusing on in particular. It seems like he's playing a bit coy with the details, right? No mention of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns or Year One or Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. What's the deal? While we don't know much about the Batman's plot details, we do know it will involve multiple villains in the Dark Knight Rises Rogues Gallery. And there are more than a few hints out there that director Matt Reeves is honing in on the classic Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb storyline, The Long Halloween. This classic Batman story follows the exploits of a serial villain who only takes out their victims on holidays like Christmas, St. Patrick's Day, and Easter. Batman teams up with Lieutenant James Gordon and District Attorney Harvey Dent to determine the culprit behind these crimes. The mystery ends up leading all of them down a dark path, especially Dent, who, by the story's conclusion, will become the classic villain Two-Face. If this storyline sounds familiar, it's probably because it served as a major inspiration for Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Turns out it was actually filmmaker Kevin Smith who dropped the exciting bit of news that Reeves was heavily inspired by The Long Halloween. Here's what Smith had to say on the matter. To be fair, I heard it too, and I heard it from a good source too. And seeing as how Smith has lots of contacts within the realm of film and at DC Entertainment, it's entirely feasible. Suffice it to say, we're willing it's a safe bet that The Long Halloween is near the top of Robert Pattinson's reading stack, right under the Twilight series. We kid. Again, please don't hurt us. But you can't just read Batman comics all day and expect to be well prepared for this kind of role. Pattinson is getting in tip-top shape to take on the Batmantle. As far as his workout routine goes, we've finally gotten a little hint at how he's preparing for the role. In a since-deleted Instagram post, trainer Higan Machado showed off himself and Pattinson working hard in the gym. The caption read, "Batman is coming." Machado has a red and black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and has worked with a number of great actors, including Pattinson's The Lost City of Z co-star Charlie Hunnam, Vin Diesel, and Ashton Kutcher. Machado, along with his brother Jean-Jacques, have even worked with Keanu Reeves. That's right, Mr. John Wick, Neo, and Ted Theodore Logan himself. And Keanu is definitely not a guy we'd ever want to challenge to a fight, because he would end us in every possible way.
I'm thinking so.
And what exactly is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you ask? It's a martial art with a strong focus on grappling and ground fighting. Once your opponent is off balance, you hit them with a chokehold. But not just chokeholds, joint locks are also key to taking your opponent down. It's extremely effective and can get really intense. Seems like the kind of fighting style Batman would employ, right? And want to hear one of the more pleasant surprises regarding Pattinson's prep for Batman? Turns out his Lighthouse co-star, Willem Dafoe, played a small part in how Pattinson will approach Batman's voice. In a video video interview with Access Hollywood, Pattinson stated William's voice in The Lighthouse was quite inspiring for it, to be honest. It is pretty similar, the voice I'm gonna do, to Williams.
And I just thought that was kind of fascinating.
If that's not a ringing endorsement to go see Robert Eggers The Lighthouse immediately, we don't know what is. And while we might miss Christian Bale's gravely "swear to me" tones, we're hoping Pattinson manages to strike the appropriate balance between intimidating and absurd. And look, we know we've kind of been teasing the guy a bit, but we hope it's also clear that we are genuinely pumped to see Robert Pattinson in the role. He's a phenomenal actor. What's unmistakably clear is that Pattinson is throwing himself into this part with all kinds of dedication and professionalism. We're willing to bet The Batman will offer one of the most fascinating live-action takes on the legendary character that we've ever seen. So, what do you think, people? Are you excited to see Robert Pattinson take on this legendary role? Do you think he'll go the distance and put on 70 pounds of muscle like Christian Bale? Which Batman comic books do you hope Matt Reeves will adapt? Let us know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. We'll see you next time, Screen Ranters. Same bat time, same bat channel.